Hey everyone, John here from All Miniatures Great Small. In today's unit overview, we're talking about the British Challenger tank. The Challenger tank is out of the new British Bulge book. It is an evolution of the Cromwell and the kind of like if a Cromwell and a Firefly had a baby. And it is a pretty cool tank, and we're going to take a look at it today. All right, let's dive in and talk about the stats first. I'm going to be looking at the Challenger from the Hussars Armored Troop. Hope I said that right. My British friends can correct me. It's hit on a 4+, like most late war stuff. It's careful. It only has a front armor 6, 4, and 1, giving it the same armor as a Cromwell or a Sherman, and even the old school Sherman, not the upgraded front armor 7 Sherman. So the armor is nothing to write home about on the Challenger. It has a motivation of confident 4+, but it does have protected ammo, which gives it a remount of 3+, which is very, very nice. It has a skill of trained, which translates to a 4+. That gives you basically a 50-50 chance of doing movement orders like blitzes or shooting and scooting. Not the best, but again, not the worst either. At least it's not like a lot of the Soviets. So you've got that 4+, not something you can rely on. Speed-wise, tactical 12, so it's a fast tank. It's faster than a Sherman, which has a tactical of 10. It's got a terrain dash of 16, a cross country of 24, and a whopping 28 inches road dash. The downside, though, is it only has a cross check of 4+. It is a heavy tank, and it doesn't like going through rough terrain as much as a Cromwell or Firefly might. The weapons, let's talk about the weapons. It has a 17-pounder, the ever-popular British 17-pounder, which gives it a whopping 36-inch range, which outranges a lot of German guns, but not all of them. For example, the 88 that you might find on the Tiger, or the long-barreled 7.5 on the Panther. Those punch out to 40 inches. So still, still not the best range, but better than Panzer IVs and Stugs and things like that, which is always nice. It has a halted rate of fire of 2, a moving rate of fire of 1, anti-tank 15, 3+ firepower, and no HE. So you won't be relying on this guy to smoke your targets. But with AT-15 being slung around, you don't want to be firing smoke rounds anyway. You want to be killing those dangerous targets. You also get some machine guns, though not as much as like a Cromwell or a Sherman. You only get 3 machine gun shots whether you're moving or not. No 50 cals. But yeah, that's it. And the Challenger runs in, normally you're going to pay, depending on the version, I guess, like around 7 points for a single one, which is pretty good. I mean, the ways you can take these, you can take them, I think, in platoons of 3 or 4, which is nice in the Hussars Armored Troop. I don't like, you probably heard me talk about this before, I don't like 3 tank strong platoons. I think it opens the door for all kinds of problems as far as morale goes, particularly with a motivation of 4+. You want to avoid having to take a unit check as long as you can. So if you were going to take a unit of just Challengers, I would probably recommend 4 instead of 3 if you could afford it. And sometimes when you're playing really low point games, 3 is the best you're going to do, and that's kind of what it is. So what else are we going to compare this tank to? Well, if you've watched any of my videos, you probably are already well aware of the the German opposition out there. The Challenger might be facing things like Panthers, which are pretty common in late war lists, and this AT-15 17-pounder is excellent for killing Panthers. The late version of the Panther has a front armor of 10, whereas the AT-15 will reliably go through that more than half the time, which is impressive. So Panthers cannot operate with impunity. Tigers are the same. Your Panzer IVs and Stugs aren't even going to get a save. Only the things like King Tigers, Yog Tigers, anything with the super ridiculously high armor is not going to be afraid of the Challenger, but everything else is. I guess your gun teams aren't going to be that afraid of the Challenger either with the no HE special rule. It's not meant to take out gun teams or infantry. It is a tank killer, first and foremost. So what other units have the 17-pounder for the British? What can we compare this to, like, as far as what the British can take? Well, I think the most obvious comparison is the Firefly. The Challenger was kind of a solution to the Firefly, which is, if you don't know what a Firefly is, it is a Sherman tank modification the British made that put a 17-pounder gun into the Sherman. The Americans didn't think it would be done. The British proved them wrong, and the Firefly was an impressive tank, but the British kind of wanted their own version of it. So the Firefly was always more of a stopgap until they could get something like the Challenger out into the field. But the Firefly has the same exact gun, you know, with the AT-15, and it has the same exact armor. It's just not as fast, but it has a better cross-check. So you have a trade-off when you're talking Firefly to that. Otherwise, they are basically the same cost with Fireflies. And in the new book, you can take Fireflies, kind of like with Challengers, either in a unit of themselves, or as you know, in a Sherman platoon or a Cromwell platoon, you can upgrade one of the tanks to a Challenger or Firefly, which is kind of cool. Other things that have that AT-15 gun are tank destroyers like the M10C and the Archer. Now those two tanks are both carrying the same exact gun and bring it to you, but at a discount because it's got less, you know, they have less armor, they aren't as fast, but you know, on the whole, they are still firing at the end of the day AT-15 at your enemies, which is really nice. M10Cs in particular are a cost-effective way to get AT-15 in your list. Most, like here we go, like this M10C runs a little bit more than half the cost of a Cromwell, and it has some of the same stats. Sure, it doesn't have you know, protected ammo, and its armor is a little bit worse, but when the Germans are flinging AT-14 or worse at you, you know, front armor 5 or front armor 6 for this guy really doesn't matter too much. The Archers are even, you know, or even another way you could go, being a little bit more expensive than the M10, and you can see it has even less armor, which is just crazy. But all of those together will, you know, get you AT-15. Now, in a late British list, you can also field something like the Comet, which is only AT-14, and I say only, but it is an option. And Comets, again, run the same price as a Challenger. So you're trading the better gun, or the better AT of the Challenger for a more multi-purpose gun. It's AT-14, but it's not penalized by the no HE rule. It can fire smoke. It's pretty much just as fast. The Comet has better armor by 1, you know, front armor 7, has a better cross-check. It has protected ammo just like the Challenger. So really it depends on kind of what you're going for. If you know you're going to be facing heavy tanks, the AT-15 on the Challenger is going to be attractive. If you don't know what you're going to be facing, or going to be facing a mixed list, well, maybe Comets are going to be a way to go, since it can handle all kinds of targets, not just enemy tanks. But overall, I like the Challenger. I think it is a cool tank. The turret is just so tall and boxy. I just love it. It just looks so silly, but it is deadly on the battlefield. So there you go, guys. That is my thoughts on the Challenger battle tank. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you like the Challenger? Do you find a place for it in your British lists? Have you taken it to events or tournaments? Let me know. I'm kind of curious as to the results you've had. What do you think of the Challenger in relation to other British tanks in late war that you have access to. And I would also ask, if you do like our content, please do consider giving us a like and subscribe. Click that bell to receive notification when we release new content. Specifically, if you like our Flames of War content, check out our Patreon, where patrons get access to Flames of War battle reports every month. And then also, if you just like overall what we do, consider our YouTube membership. You can click that join button down below to see all the cool perks you get with that. As always, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.